welcome to Frequency and Friends. We're back for another episode, and today we got two special, very special guests that have come out to see us. Super excited for this one, especially off camera, what we just heard and the vibes, the energy that these guys brought into this room at the time of night that we're recording this. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'd like to introduce Alaap and Sarang Sikander.
Thank you
Hey,
so
an
much.
honor,
guys.
bro.
Let's go,
An
man.
honor.
Everybody make some noise.
Let's
Thank
go.
You for
Honor.
having us. Thank you for having
I've been
us.
looking
Thank
forward
you
to
so
this
much for
one.
having us.
Before you guys even say anything, let me tell you one thing. I've been such a big fan of the podcast.
No,
I've been
yeah,
following
we've
up
been
from
like
the-
following this.
following from the past few
Down.
years, like watching every podcast.
Thank you so much.
Remember
man. We
one of those
appreciate
things
that.
when you just sit down and you're like, I'm gonna make you to that show. That's definitely one of those shows for me.
Oh, I think
Actually, it's the other way around.
Yeah,
I
I
call,
think so.
I
yeah.
call, remember we were talking about like, do we have a time to like? Do we have a time? Do we have time to get them on? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Can we figure it out?
Yeah.
I'm like, let me just see if these guys are down first before I say anything. He's like, yo, when I was coming here, I was gonna see if you guys wanted to get us on because we
No,
wanted to do it
it's
too. I was like, yo, this
absolute
fucking works
honor.
out.
Worked out
Quick
perfect.
round of applause for us.
Yes.
Yeah, round of
Yes.
applause for us.
It's a win-win situation.
It's the opposite for us. We were like,
It's mutual. It's mutual.
Yeah, that's
that's
it.
awesome.
And of course, I have to introduce my co-host. Could not do this show without them. To the left of me, I got Jay Static.
Going
To the
on.
left of him, we got Jyoti Dillon. And of course, to the right of me, my main man, DJ M. Let's make some noise for
What's
everybody.
up?
Man. Thank you guys for coming out.
House.
Shout out to the men behind the lens, Lucid Films, Cam and Jess Guttin. And of
We got the
course, we
whole
got the
squad.
whole Frequency crew out here with another singer we're going to have on one day as well. So
Very
we'll make sure. Thank you guys for coming out and supporting always. Boys, welcome. Welcome
Thank
to
you.
Toronto. Welcome to the show.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
having us.
Thanks
Thanks
for
for
having us.
us.
What brings you guys to the city? I know that this is kind of like a second
Yeah.
home for you. We'll get
Welcome,
into
is.
that.
welcome
is.
back to Toronto.
Thank you,
Yeah.
bro. That's
Yeah,
definitely
actually,
what it is.
why don't we start there? This was actually a second home for you guys. You
It
guys
was,
did
yeah.
live in Toronto for
For a few years, yeah.
For a few years.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a secret. I'm glad it's been a secret like that as always. But then, I mean, the people who are from the circle, the people who are from the industry, they definitely knew because that was the whole reason why we came here. Because to like link up with the people who are in the scene, to learn from them, to like work with them. And I mean, Manit should remember that the whole reason for me to be moving here was actually to go to school here.
Yeah.
And as you guys know, I went to Metalworks. I graduated from there. God bless. You know, so
You
me
were-
and Manit were
You were his
we're in
classmate?
the
we
same
were
class.
together.
I-
We had the same class.
Did he show up to class ever?
And just Raj.
Yeah, I'm not gonna comment on that. I'm just kidding.
Just
No, yeah,
Raj.
he did show up to a lot of the sessions we did together because
Yeah.
we had different groups, but we did actually end up in a lot of the groups
The
together.
groups together, yeah.
And it was like whenever we were there, we just instantly vibed. You know,
Yeah,
It
and
was just-
I remember the first day that he was in class. I was already there. I was repeating some courses,
exactly.
and he was in a little bit after. And I remember somebody because another brown kid, I think Regs was in there. Just
Rags there, just Raj was there too.
So we're all
Yeah.
there around the same time.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yo, that's Sarang Sikander's son." I'm like, "No, it's not." He's like, "Yeah, it is." I'm like, "Okay, whatever, chal dekh liya, right?"
Yeah.
And they did like the name call or whatever. It says Sikander. I was like, "Oh shit, that's actually his son."
It actually is. I mean, little did he know.
Of course, for those of you listening, I didn't put that in the introduction because I didn't want to take away from you guys, even though it's a big part of obviously your guys' life, your history. But those of you that don't know, these are Sarang Sikander's two sons.
Thank you so much. We're
Yeah.
blessed to be his sons. We're blessed to be the part of the family.
Absolutely. And before we even go any further, rest in peace to your father. It's almost been a year earlier this year.
True.
And we
2 years,
lost
actually.
we lost
Yeah.
2 years.
It's
Sorry.
gonna be 2 years.
Yes.
It's been
Yeah.
We lost an absolute legend for us, you know, as fans of music, as people who adored him from afar. We can't even imagine what, you know, losing a father could be like. But for us, it was just a true legend, and he's
you,
he's
guys.
Felt like we
missed.
all lost a father.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
sweet of you guys.
it's very
Thank you
warm
so
to
much.
like, you know, to be able to hear that from you guys because the biggest fact about losing him for both of us, I mean, I speak for Sarang as well, and maybe you guys as well. Losing a father, it's inevitable. It's gonna happen one day. Sadly enough, we're gonna lose people around our, you know, our lives and families. But the problem was losing such a big character, like a person who foreshadowed you for, you know, all your life. He's been keeping all the bad things away from you. He's always protected you from all the evil, all the ill, you know. So all of a sudden, like that person's not there anymore. So things just flip on you, and it's been hard. But I mean, looking to the bright side, all the people who came through to like support us, to you know, console us.
Yeah,
I
shout
mean,
out
you
to them,
guys,
man.
obviously, you
You
know, all of you
guys.
people, and you guys who who you are, and definitely helped us to get over. You're never gonna get over it,
But
but
helps you get through it.
Cope
it does.
with it.
Yeah.
You guys made us power through it. So, yeah.
Coping.
You know what
side.
was interesting to me is before we started this episode, we were listening to these absolutely legendary songs of his, and for me, I don't know, like if I, thank God my father is still here, but if he wasn't and I watched a video or heard a voice note from him, I wouldn't be able to contain myself. But you guys hear his voice and these beautiful melodies.
That's
I'm
so
holding back.
And like
true.
we
you
cry
are.
listening to
I'm
his
holding
music.
back
I can't
thinking about
imagine
it,
how you
so-
guys hold it together hearing that beautiful voice. It's unbelievable, man.
That's
Bro,
actually unbelievable because for whenever we play any of his songs, or if like anything related to him is played anywhere, we still for a second believe that he's alive, actually alive, and then another second we're like, oh shit, no, I think that's the only thing, his voice.
Yeah.
That's
kept
the only
him
thing
alive
that
today.
that's the only thing alive right now.
Suki True School the other day, I was hanging out with him in UK. He told me that, I understand that you lost a father. I understand that you lost a very big character, like a mentor. But then he's like, to me, to be honest with you, Sardul Sikandar is always alive because look at my back shelf. He's like, this is all Sardul Sikandar to me, man. Because this is what he stood for. This is what he represented. And I mean, it is his voice that is keeping him alive in all the hearts,
Yeah.
that the music is beating in. So, I mean, shout out to you guys who've kept him alive with all the music that you've been listening to, you've been playing. And I mean, it does kind of get to you at a point where you start missing what each of those songs represented, because I know the stories. Sarang knows the stories, right, behind each and every song. So you just kind of go back and reminisce. My best friend used to tell me, like, there's stages to grievance. There's you sometimes you deny it, then you kind of submit to it, then you kind of accept it, and then once you start celebrating it, that's when you miss a person, but you smile at the same time.
Yeah.
So we're still trying to get to that point. At the same time, his music is so beautiful and magnificent. It actually does make you smile, no matter what happens. Right?
One
Yeah.
word for the music is legendary.
It is.
That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
It's legend. Wait for it. There.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a
No,
level.
I was-
Because we
Yeah.
don't see dad like our dad.
And we never did.
Every father and son, they have agreements and disagreements, but it's like more of like when we saw him on the stage, or maybe on the harmonium, maybe doing
Even in the studio, yeah.
even in the studios, in every mahfil or something. But we were like, oh damn, he's a different person that
Yeah,
time.
you realize
and
what a
we're the
character
different
he is.
person. Like
Yeah.
we're, it's like a student and a principal or a guru, right? Right in front of you, and you just be like this. Even if like father son agreements, disagreements, still
Typical household stuff, right?
yeah. So in that zone as well. So I just be like, oh damn.
Even still, you realize all of a sudden, right? It clicks to you. It's like, bro, he's not just your dad. He's Sardul Sikandar, bro.
he's
Yeah.
still Sardul Sikandar.
And it does happen. It used to happen all the time. And then me and Sarang, we used to discuss like our distance from dad grew more further as sons, because I treated dad like oh mere guru hai, main unada sevadar, right? I was always like, I'm his murid, or maybe a disciple to him. So anything that he said, it was sort of like, for me, sort of like a service to him, right? I always wanted to pay my respect with anything he asks me to do. So the distance grew more as a father and a son, but it was so close to him being a fan of his music. So listening to his
we
music,
listen to everybody. We listen to everybody literally.
you guys know that, right?
From-
Yeah.
So, but like even in classical music, like in Indian or Pakistani classical music, we know who's the best or who's doing
Who's the
great,
greatest,
right?
yeah.
Who's the greatest. But it's like for me, for my dad, like I think I never heard somebody like my father. I'm not saying because he's my dad.
Yeah.
I'm saying because he's
I'd
he's
say
an
that the
artist.
same,
He's being a listener. The inside of me, the listener inside of me, he just grabs like one vocal. That's Abdul Qadir voice. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, AV singer tika, OV singer tika. But yo,
The bar
This
set
guy
too high.
right
I mean,
here,
to
he
compare
has
it with
something
anybody,
else.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. And you hear that from every singer too. That's
Exactly.
the difference.
And
Like
I don't
every
think-
singer says
Yeah,
their favorite.
I mean-
It's like every singer's favorite singer is Abdul.
I was gonna say I don't think a single person listening would disagree with anything that you said
Yeah.
right there.
And
you know?
that's such a
It's just-
blessing
yeah.
to like hear
that's
that.
a
right?
blessing.
Yeah.
Even
more than blessing.
while we were listening to that one song that we were just listening to before, and him
Anji.
breaking down the levels of the song is just like where his dad was hitting certain.
No, that
notes.
was
No, Sabri Koti.
Sabarkoti.
That was
Sabri
Sabri
Koti.
Koti.
Oh, sorry.
Another legend, man.
Yeah.
Another legend lost.
But
So
just before
yeah.
that, he was.
yeah.
Yeah.
We
Breaking
were just
that
talking
song
about
down,
the other
yeah.
song too. Like he was saying how you break down each thing about your dad, the elements, the stories, the production elements, the songwriting skills. I mean, the nazakat, as I was telling, you know,
Or the harmonies.
the harmonies. Yeah, exactly. There's so much to talk about him, right? That, like you'd run out of time
Yeah.
to like talk about him, but you're never gonna run out of things to talk about him.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to talk a lot more about him, but
100%.
before we do that, we got to get to obviously you guys. You're here
Thank you.
in the flesh. We got to discuss Metalworks. We did, and that was obviously a foundation and base for.
For me, actually, definitely 100%.
So I can imagine you were learning about music before you got here as well. Yeah.
It was a learning curve for me to come to Metalworks, but at the same time, as you said, I was in the thick of the music anyways.
Okay.
Me and Sarang, we grew up listening to whatever was being played by Dad in his car. Because for the longest time, I mean, obviously we were chauffeur driven. You know, it's the luxuries.
You grew up in Punjab?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Me and Sarang, we grew up in Punjab.
Were
We
you guys
studied
born
in
there?
Punjab. We were born in Punjab.
Oh, okay.
But I mean,
We travel all the
we
time.
traveled all the
like-
time with Dad, right? We were
Yeah.
touring with Mom and Dad everywhere.
It's
Like-
just the two of you siblings.
Yeah,
Just
because
two
it
of us.
wasn't
Yeah,
just
okay.
dad; it was mom and dad.
Exactly.
Mom
It was
and
just
dad.
not just one
Yeah.
person. It was Mom and Dad, right?
Absolutely.
It's like if you look at that way, like it's just not Dad going back to like his professional life and Mom's taking care of us back at home. She has to play a role that she already has been given by the public, by the fans. So she really has to stand out on that platform. She goes on tours. She never left us home. She never left us behind.
Those of you that don't know, their mother is Amar Nudi.
Yeah.
Represent.
He was introducing me to some of the music. I've
know.
heard all the songs, but I didn't know.
It's
to put
nostalgic, isn't it? Yeah,
Unbelievable,
it is.
man! What a beautiful voice.
I mean, them taking us to the tours, that actually gave us most of the exposure to the music, to the cultures, to the people that we used to hang out with. And then it actually does help you a lot to learn about what people are listening to in every different region. So that's what helped us to understand, okay, this is this kind of music that compared to my dad. If my dad did that certain genre, how is he going to represent that? And we used to go back to him and ask him. He was literally to teach us about this might be a surprise to you, but then there was a time when he actually taught us about R&B. He taught us about Kavaliyan. He taught us things like, he actually told us like Whitney Houston used to be his most favorite singer.
Really?
I mean, think
That's
about-
what I was gonna ask.
Coming
is-
to him,
I
right?
That's what I was
Never
gonna
thought that.
ask.
Yeah.
Is what did he listen to?
I mean, he listened for anything from Ghulam Ali Khan Sahab to Kuldeep Manak ji to like Madonna to Led Zeppelin. In the later days,
Like,
because
yeah.
it was everywhere.
We when we grew up,
He literally took it so seriously that music is a universal.
I was
language.
listening to Linkin Park the whole time. Like I worshipped those guys, and just like
still do.
Mike Tyson. Just like Muhammad Ali is for Mike Tyson.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just like that. And I told my dad, I'm like, my dad was like, okay, apart from the screaming songs, like they have like nice songs like too.
They have
like,
amazing
very
music, right? Yeah.
melodic. And my dad was like, ਵਧੀਆ ਗਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਆ ਵੀ
ਸੁਰ
ਗਾਣਾ
ਚ ਨੇ।
ਵਧੀਆ ਇਹ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੁਣਦਾ ਤੂੰ I was like, yeah, I was like, then he liked those songs and he broke down his like ਆ ਗਾਣਾ ਇਹ ਰਾਗ ਚ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਦਾ. I'm like, wow. Then he introduced me to those things, right? That every song in this world is basically a rag.
Yeah.
And that's a scale. And he listened he listens to he heard what's his name?
What artist are you talking about?
Okay, after Whitney Houston, there's like few more.
A
and
bunch
then-
of them, yeah. Celine Dion, for example, he loved her.
Oh, yeah.
He was a huge fan.
And after that, when we like introduced a lot of pop, Ariana Grande, my mom and they enjoyed the music.
Rihanna, Ariana Grande, all these people. I mean,
Yeah.
like, don't get me wrong. Most of the people must have been thinking, oh, Sardul Sikander must be just listening to classical Bade Ghulam Ali Sahab all the time. Don't get me wrong. He does. He used to.
I'm trying to imagine him listening to Whitney Houston right
And then
now.
breaking it
Yeah.
down.
I'm blown away by that.
I'm just picturing Kurta Pajama sitting there listening to
Like Amazing Grace or
is
something
awesome.
like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing,
But
right?
where are some places that his and your mother's tours took you guys around the world?
I mean, everywhere, bro. Like the only places I've not been to is probably that's me talking. I'm not even sure about Sarang. I'm pretty sure he's been to more countries than me.
Who's elder?
He's the older one.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure he's been to like 2-3 more countries than me. Right?
Okay.
He's been to
Yeah.
Europe more with mom and dad.
I can say maybe like 2-3 countries.
That's the only place that's
Yeah.
that
left
you haven't been
that
to.
I haven't
That's
been to. There's only
insane.
2-3 countries we
Damn.
haven't been to.
That
Where
is-
Like
Punjabi still
Africa
are.
or maybe China or something. Maybe Japan.
To like sum that up,
Yeah.
any country that has Punjabi population actually
Yeah.
and any population that actually wants to listen to that music.
Where was a place that you guys traveled to that you were like, holy shit, I didn't know that there was this many Punjabis or people that were into the music?
I just have the right answer for you. Hong Kong.
Oh,
Really?
Hong Kong and South Korea. We
Wow.
were so surprised.
South Korea?
Yeah, 7,000 people showed up on the show.
Holy shit.
Kogi uncle was there. So Gurpreet Kogi uncle was there as the host.
Mom, dad,
Mom, dad were the main act.
Uh-huh.
So I remember 2004, I believe. Yes, 2004.
Three.
3 or 4.
3, 4.
Either way.
Yeah,
3 was Australia actually. 3 was Australia. I remember. So 4, we went to the tour. There's still videos on YouTube. You would just pull up the videos and
Uh-huh.
you'll see that happening. Mom and dad performing. All these.
And you
people
can
cheering up.
And it was
watch
all
us playing a
Indians.
little chimp
Yeah, it was all
at
Indian
the
people.
back.
The craziest part is like those people were like so deprived of the fact that there was no performance coming in.
Yeah.
So they just got together. They were like, finally something is happening, right?
Wow,
so
That's crazy.
that was like the craziest place. I was surprised to see any Punjabi people out there.
Damn.
So yeah,
That is super
That's
interesting.
crazy.
definitely, yeah, 100%.
And then fast forward to the conversation of you guys coming out here to Toronto. So obviously you're being separated from your mother and father. You're
Yeah.
coming out here for school. How old were you guys when you came out?
I was well, obviously we traveled since we were babies, but when I moved out of the house, actually mom came with me.
Oh,
So she's like, "Nay, but I'm not gonna leave you alone," as always.
yeah.
I was
Even if-
with dad.
He was with dad most of the
like-
times because somebody had to be with them,
Yeah.
to take care of him and
Yeah.
anything. He
Be at the
needed back
shows with
home.
him and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah,
that.
so he went to the shows with them, and
So
then
he's the manager, you could say.
I
used to
I
be.
used to
Yeah.
I
He
used to
be,
manage
yeah.
my dad.
He
Yeah.
that he did
in a
definitely did.
new certain way. I'm like, Dad, you got to work with these guys, these new producers.
These
quick."
popular
and then
people,
he's
yeah.
like,
Oh, tu chup kar ja, tenu bada pata.
I mean, obviously, you can't tell your dad
He's
who's,
my dad.
no,
who's a
yeah.
superstar legend
Yeah.
to like.
Yeah.
And he's my dad. And
I'm
he's
like-
Sardul Sikander.
I'm like, I was telling Sarang, I was like, yeah, tell Sardul Sikander what to do in music. Bro. Yeah, try to do that.
Shabash.
Nobody
Yeah.
can. It's like,
And
obviously-
yeah, exactly. So like at that point, I was 17, 18 when I moved here.
And your mom came with
Mom
you.
came with me, and then she was.
Where'd you guys live in the city?
I
Sandalwood
lived
and
in. I
Jacuzzi.
live. Believe it or not, we lived in Browntown. Represent. I mean,
Yeah, Brampton, let's
yeah,
go.
literally.
Uh-huh.
We lived at our family's house for the longest time. We have dad's friend, Praminder Chopra uncle, and
shout out
he
to that, man.
supported. My the reason why I was here. He supported my career. He supported my struggles, my hardships.
Mm-hmm.
So when we actually finally, for after like 7 months of me struggling through like taking the buses down the road,
Yeah, you
I've
saw
lived
that.
that student life. Don't get me
I
wrong.
was gonna say for a guy
Damn.
who's wearing an AP, I can't see you. Can't see you taking a bus, But
Yeah, it's honestly telling you, it's. I used to wear a Rolex, which I stole from dad. Obviously, I mean, obviously, I don't
class.
have that kind of money. Yeah, he saw that.
To
I remember.
class.
To
Boy
class.
came in with the Rolex to class. I said, what the fuck
Yeah,
is my
all
dad?
these
I said,
people.
okay.
Yeah, all these people asking me like, "Yo, what do you do for a living?" I'm like, "My dad's rich." They're like, "What do you do for a living?" I'm like, "Trust me, guys, I don't do anything. I'm just trying to sugarcoat that." So like, yeah, showing up here with like in a place where I was in so much luxury, chauffeur-driven
going
kids.
from that, yeah.
Yeah, like even in my school, I never went to the school bus. My dad used to have drivers drop us to the school.
Wow.
We had like
he was very secure.
we had
as
like
well.
gunmen and bodyguards
And I
around
guess
us.
you have to have that out there as well.
I mean,
right?
to be honest, nowadays it's more crazier than it used to be.
Mhm.
But even back in the days, like dad was definitely very protective about his family,
Yeah.
which every good family man would be.
Yeah.
And to the point where, like, when I came here, I'll tell you a little story. So, I've seen that student life where sweare 4 baje uth ke bus fadni hai. You don't eat
Yo,
any
tell
meals.
Him, tell him that thing when you slipped.
I was just about to tell that.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit, yeah.
So I remember the times when like ਮੈਨੂੰ ਜਦੋਂ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਸੀ ਨਾ 15-20 ਦਿਨ regularly when we were going to school together. So ਉੱਥੇ it got to a point where dad kind of understood what time I wake up and what time do I get to the station. So whenever I used to walk, he used to call me. And we would have conversations about ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਘਰੇ ਕੀ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ. He would tell me what's going on here. And I would tell him like whatever I'm learning. Papa, I just learned how to wrap cables. I just learned how to the shit that he wouldn't even care about. He was so interested in it, right? Being a father. I was like, Dad, I just learned how to put the console in the record to VCA mode.
Yeah,
and
straight up,
whatnot.
yo, I got a patch bay and
Exactly. I got the patch bay right. I got the buses mixed right. It was crazy. Like little things that I was telling him. With so much interest, he used to listen. And one day it just so happened to be that I was on the phone and I slipped. And I fell down from the snow, obviously, right? So 5 a.m, I slipped and, landed on my ass and I'm like, shit. And the phone kind of just fell apart. Back in the days, the battery adda hundi si phone di SIM card.
Yeah.
So everything kind of just fell into the snow. So I'm looking for the sizes of the slot. Ki battery ki cha, SIM ki cha. Like I put the phone back together, called my dad like 10 minutes later. right away he's like, "Kyun hoya? Maine teri awaaz suni." Like, "Are you hurt?" I was like, "No, Dad, I'm fine. I'm like, theek hai." He's like, "Nahi, tenu kuch hoya. Maine teri cheek suni si," and then the phone got cut. I was like, "Nah, Dad, everything's fine. Did somebody hit you? Like a car hit you or something?" Dad, chill. Just slipped in the snow, man. It's fine. He's like, "What happened? How do you slip in the snow?" I was like, "Dad, it happens all the time to people, man. It's like my 5th time this week." He's like, "Wait, what? Are you hurt? Are you okay?" I was like, "Dad, I'm totally fine. It's fine.
Welcome to Canada.
Welcome to Canada." Guess what? Cut the call. Calls my mom in the morning. So she, poor lady, just like, got me out of the bed and just, packed my lunch and just, sent me off to school. Just got to the bed and she's like, "Hanji, ki hoya?" She's like, "Tu jalam ek number di. Tu ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਏਦਾਂ behave ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ. ਤੂੰ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਚੱਕ ਕੇ ਭੇਜਤਾ ਸਵੇਰੇ. Mom's like, "What happened?" ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉਹ ਵਿਚਾਰਾ ਗਿਰ ਗਿਆ snow 'ਚ. And mom was like, "ਫਿਰ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ?" Everybody's gonna go through that one day, ਪਾਪਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨਹੀਂ struggle through ਜਾਣਗੇ. That mom was like, ਕਿਉਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ struggle ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ? Like, didn't you struggle in your hardest times? It's like, no, but I did it for them. So they don't have to do it. So mom's like, he's so happy doing it. He's so in his element. Let him be. Don't try to don't try to call him back now.
Yeah.
My mother phone cut ke fir mainu phone la liya. So at that point I was changing the other bus. So dad goes like, "Tu wapas aaja. Main tenu A.R. Rahman kol bheju. I'm going to send you to Vishal Dadlani. I'm going to send you to all these great people to learn music from them. I'm going to give you the flat. I'm going to give you a car back in Mumbai. Just come back." And till this day, I seriously love what
Father's
I said to him.
love, man. Let's
Yeah.
make some noise for that,
Thank
man.
you, bro.
What a
Thank you
beautiful
so
story.
much.
Come on.
That's one of those beautiful things.
You know what I said to him? I was like, "Dad,"
He said to
I was like, "Dad, mainu Sardul Sikandar de munde cho bahar aa lane do. It's finally my time to shine."
Yeah.
And he started crying on the phone. I mean, he's like, "If you want to do that, ja Simran ja, ji le apni zindagi."
Did you honestly feel like that at that point? Like you wanted to come out of the shadow? Because obviously you must have felt that pressure getting into the music
Oh,
industry.
100%. I remember him talking to the press about it one day.
I was talking about these guys, and I'd be like, Dad's song release, and they were like, "Oh, are you guys doing something?" And well, they're just noticing and is recording us, and I'm like, "Okay, listen. First of all, we're trying our best to do in the music game, but being Sardul Sikandar's son is a blessing, but a curse as well.
Yeah.
Why? Because
Makes sense.
it's a blessing that we're his son. Everybody's gonna be like, "Oh shit, Sardul Sikandar's son. We're gonna get like hyped up, like followers and stuff like that."
And the music
Absolutely.
privilege as well.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and like we got links and stuff like that. Like people are like, but the curse is when I talk about my own music, when I'm gonna put my music. So it's like people expecting the same thing that I'm doing, like from just like my dad was doing, and it's like a 60-year-old Sardul Sikandar who has a legendary Riaz, and I'm like a 30-year-old guy, and I'm like not even close to him, and people are going to expect the same amount of Riaz from me in 30 years of age,
Yeah.
and like that same experience. And
That's physically impossible.
That's
Yeah.
I think that's
impossible.
going to be expected forever. I always compare it to like
Yeah.
Michael Jordan. That's probably why his son never played basketball. It's like he
Yeah.
didn't want to be put up to the
comparison.
best ever.
Look at
you
Sachin
know?
Tendulkar's son. He's
Yeah.
already being compared to his dad.
Oh yeah. And I think that's
In
something
every
that you're
sense.
gonna constantly face. But
Exactly.
there's two ways to go about it. Michael Jordan's son never played basketball. He just shied away from it. Does something totally different. You guys are at least trying to face that adversity.
Yeah,
try
and
to
we're
go-
trying to do like double minute, double efforts, like we're putting in us. But that's why I was actually trying to become a film director or something like that.
He wanted to be a film director, yeah.
But I was like, all right, no man, screw this. I'm going into music production, right? So I tried like my best like in music production. Then I sort of like things that I've gathered like knowledge from people like Jadhav Kumar or Bablu Mahindra or Atul Sharma ji, all these people, right? Listening
Legendary
to
people.
dad songs, like by Charanjit Ahuja sahab, and one of the music jo like I used to like learn like how to produce a good Punjabi music, but I was not into Punjabi music that time. I was just a listener. I was just a listener. The only thing I was listening to was Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, Korn, Metallica, all these guys, right? Tupac, Biggie, Snoop Dogg, everybody, like Dr. Dre. I was like, what I'm gonna do with all this, right? At the end, everybody's gonna be like, oh, Sardul Sikander son, but sings English.
Bro, I'm not
He
even
had the
lying.
epiphany.
Even the shades, I can see him being a film director with those shades.
Oh, yeah,
man.
with
He's
the
got
shades,
that-
right?
I'm right now in my Tony Stark mode.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, when
Go
we were
ahead.
at Metalworks and like I met him as Alaap Sarang Sikander son, whatever.
Yeah.
Bro, Metalworks, for those of you that know, it's like straight rock music school.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Bro, and when this guy started shredding the guitar and he's talking about Metallica, and I'm like, yo, I'm born here. I don't even know any of these guys.
You know, speaking of film,
man.
you guys actually did something that they were telling me about, like a web series on YouTube, was it?
Oh, yeah.
Yaar Jigri Kasuti Digri.
Well, explain that to us for those of us that don't know.
that was me. I was on the background score and I sang like a few songs and produced a few songs for that.
Basically, the series was actually the first ever Punjabi
series,
put out.
yes.
It blew up.
Ever.
It blew ever.
Oh.
Like
Yeah.
nobody
I
actually
watched
was
it.
in that.
Yeah,
business
shout outs to
ever.
Shadi Mon. You know, he sang
sang
the
the
title
title track,
and he
yeah.
promoted he us like we were new kids and we were rejected by big channels.
Wow.
Oh,
They
damn.
knew the product was good. They never wanted to give us the money.
Yeah,
They were
and-
like, we're never gonna pay for the cost. So tusi ਰਹਿਣ ਦੋ, tusi ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੇ ਦਿਓ, we're
There's
gonna
like
make
new
a better
kids,
one.
ਹਨਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਕੀ ਆ ਹਨਾ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਪਤਾ
No,
ਨਹੀਂ
but
ਨਹੀਂ
God
ਚੱਲਣਾ।
bless Rabbi Tiwana, the creator of the
They're-
show.
yeah,
Yeah.
man.
He had confidence in himself.
He was
He
like,
knew he
"Whoa,
was good.
ਆਪਾਂ
right?
ਕਰਨਾ ਹੀ
Yeah.
ਕਰਨਾ and Pukhraj Palla, my boy, and he was like in the
Represent.
main lead and we all had like this plan and we end up making this like four or five episodes and we started like showing like some channels like where like yo ਅਸੀਂ ਆ
This is
ਬਣਾਇਆ
what we're
ਤੁਸੀਂ
doing.
ਦੇਖਿਓ।
So yeah, check it out.
ਐਂਡ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਚੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਚੈਨਲ ਆ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦਾ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਨਾ 2 ਐਪੀਸੋਡ ਬੋਰ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਸੋ ਯੂ نو ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਚੱਲਣੀ ਨਹੀਂ
So this is what they
Damn.
told us. They're
and
meaning.
and that same channel ਜਦੋਂ he's like screw everything ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣਾ YouTube ਚੈਨਲ ਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਟ੍ਰੋਲ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ
He's like, I have a few thousand subscribers.
Yeah.
People are gonna watch it anyways,
Yeah.
right? So ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਲੱਖ ਡੇਢ ਲੱਖ view ਵੀ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ. I'm very happy.
Yeah.
and Shadi, shout outs to him, he promoted like ਉਹਨੇ free ਚ ਗਾਣਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ
Like
ਕਰਕੇ
anything,
ਦਿੱਤਾ।
yeah.
Did you guys have
So-
a relationship with Sherry prior to that, or
The director reached him
director
out.
had,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Sherry loved the idea. Sherry's like, yeah, ਤੁਹਾਡੀ series ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ. It's very popular. It's gonna be very popular because it's close to what people actually go through every day in college.
Yes, it
There's
was
the
close
hardships.
to
There's
reality.
the fun. It was very close to reality.
this is after Sherry blew up?
This is way after. Like this is on
Okay.
Thin Peg level, right? That's where he
okay.
was doing all of that stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
That's like
it's like
2016, 17.
17 and
okay.
18,
So
yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
recent.
Yeah,
I mean.
It is pretty.
We
yeah,
released
yeah.
it in 2018, and the first episode had a song. I sang a song in the first episode. It was in the
In the very end of the episode.
It's like before, like right before the credits, and then like you know I was like okay ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਯਾਰ ਗਾਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਗਾਉਣਾ ਹਨਾ ਇਹਦੇ ਲਈ the song was called ਯਾਰ ਗਵਾਉਣੇ ਸੌਖੇ ਨੇ ਪਰ ਪਾਉਣੇ ਨੇ ਔਖੇ
So he just put it together, I mean.
and
yeah.
ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਚਲੋ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਇੱਕ ਵਧੀਆ good ending ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ for
Conclusion
first
ਚਾਹੀਦਾ,
episode. I was like, we need a good song. I was like, okay, and then like they give me lyrics, and I like composed and I produced. And what happened was, September 15, we release the first episode. Next day, I check my phone. 1,500, like 2,000 followers, like 2,000 followers, like
Oh, damn.
overnight. And 50 calls, 150 text messages. I started checking myself. Am I alive? Like,
That's
Is
crazy.
everything
people are
okay?
calling me because am I dead or something? Like,
The series blew up. It was like,
It did.
yeah, it did. And
Even here it did. A lot of people.
a lot of people,
watched
a lot
it.
of
We both
people.
talked
Yeah.
about it when we watched
And I
it.
remember,
Thank you, bro, yeah.
like what I find hard to believe is like obviously you guys are in like the Punjab retrospect like star kids, like you know Sardul's kids are part of, but even Pukraz, he's just with
Yeah.
the Palla son, like
He's
so.
such a legend's son,
Like,
right? Yeah.
like I'm surprised that the bigger channels or whatever producers didn't want to work with it.
yeah, man, this is surprising. Like, they're like, but you know, but JJ hai na ki karna hai?"
Not so surprising anymore. I'm pretty
It's
sure
not
everybody
surprising.
understands. It's not surprising to me at all.
It's
right?
money.
Yeah.
It's a
Screw the
business.
big
Money
Big
talks,
days.
bro. Yeah.
Do they think they're going to make their money back or do they not?
Yeah, that was the only conversation.
And Paji, every actor in those, like all these actors in those series was like they were
volunteering for the
they're-
most part.
and,
Oh,
and
shit.
Yeah.
theater actors, nobody was popular, and
And
now
they're
everybody's
all-
doing movies.
They're
Yeah.
all doing movies.
yeah.
They're
all doing
Just
movies.
kinda-
Ambi's doing
yeah,
movies.
he-
Pukraz
that's
is
That's what I was gonna
obviously,
say. He's
yeah.
the one who's like really
Goes
good.
to
Ran really blew up, yeah.
goes to show you that
the
even
girl.
though being who you are and whose sons you are, it still took a big grind to kind
It
of
does.
get that
It
show
did.
to
It
the-
did.
yeah.
If
Which
we're-
is good,
for us-
though, I think. I
Yeah,
think it's a
100%.
great thing when you don't need the connect or aren't given
Didn't-
the connects that
aren't
you
given
think
the
you're going to
connection.
get.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and
because
and it still blows up. That's a big thing.
no,
That's
but
a huge
thanks to
thing.
God and
Bro,
like,
yeah. We were like 1.5 lakh, 2 lakh view ho jane, tab bahut hai.
Yeah.
It went to like
Bro.
what, 15, 20 million now?
oh my God,
Damn.
It's all the way.
Now
And
it's like
people-
more than 50
no,
million.
Get this. People
The first
were
episode.
like, oh, ਤੁਸੀਂ fake view ਕਰਵਾਇਆ. I was like, ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਐਕਟਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਣ ਨੂੰ ਪੈਸੇ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ fake view।
Fake view ਨੂੰ ਪੈਸੇ ਦੇਣੇ yo and people don't understand they say
People don't
fake view
understand
ਕਰਾਇਆ
fake view ਕਰਾਇਆ।
ਪਤਾ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਮਹਿੰਗੇ ਆ fake
Exactly.
view
It's so
man.
expensive.
Fucking expensive.
It's crazy nowadays. Like,
Bro, it's crazy.
I don't think it's even possible anymore, man. Yeah, so whatever's happening is happening now. Yeah.
So yeah, that was the series like that blew up with God's grace, and thanks to Shetty for that.
Thanks to the whole crew.
Yeah.
The whole crew. We tried working hard, so we're coming up with the 3rd season very soon now.
Nice.
Hopefully.
Okay, so it's ongoing.
Yeah, the second
Yes,
season was
sir.
good.
Nice.
We got a
That's
good
awesome.
response. So yeah, knock on the wood. Third's coming up too.
That's
yeah.
awesome. A song that I was listening to on the way here is a kind of a collab of the new generation, and then of course with your father, Prophecy. Has an amazing.
Wait, shout out to
song.
this guy who made
Yeah,
it
man.
happen.
Did
man.
he make it happen? He gives
this
you
guy
guys
right
the
here.
credit. So
No, actually, he's so modest. He would do that, right?
can we hear?
I didn't even know
Let's hear
that.
your guys' version of the story.
Actually, what happened was I've been a huge fan of Prophecy since 2009, thanks to Pukraj Palla again. Because
he
Pukraj,
introduced-
I'll tell you something about him. This guy is the person who discovers all the good music before it was even popular. He discovered Pav before he was popular. He discovered
AP and everybody.
Prophecy's music before he was popular. So I don't know where he finds this stuff.
Wow.
But Pukraj always comes to us like, "Oi, Alapi, asuna."
What is Pukraj's title? What does he do?
He does acting and singing mainly.
Yeah,
But his main title is acting.
Okay.
Because he went to school for film engineering, and then he just wanted to make films, obviously. But then his style for music, his taste for music, is so beautifully profound in a way that like, and na sona music leke auga jado bhi leke, he's like, bro, Lapi, darling, sonia tu gana. I'm like, no, I never heard this shit. So listen to this. I'm telling you, in the next 5 years, this guy's gonna blow up, and that happens.
Wow.
He's got a great sense of
We're
music.
talking about the Forever album, like back in like 2010, you know. So Prophecy was putting out his stuff. He always says it sounded like shit to me, but I still put it out. But I mean, for people like me and Sarang who were still studying production at that time, because we were like, our literal childhood was just like breaking down Charanjit Ahuja songs and listening to them and what elements did he put in the song and how each song was different from each other. Like, get this was our childhood. So me listening to Prophecy, I was like, bro, I'm a huge fan now. So for like a good decade, I was the biggest fan of his music. Still am, always gonna be. I one day I hit up JJ and he's talking about stuff, and I remember him introducing us to Pav as well in India. We met there.
Great guy.
Great guy, man. And I thank JJ for a lot of great things he's possibly done for me in my life. And a lot of people don't know this, but I'm actually breaking it down for you. So I remember it was 20 when you came over.
Yeah.
So Prophecy was there, Pav was there, Jasmine was there, Sidhu was there in the studios with you guys.
Oh, was
So it was
that famous picture?
the famous picture. So it was the great vibe, right? I saw the photo, so I told JJ, I was like, "Can we meet? Can we meet any of these people? Like, I'm a huge fan." He's like, "Bro, all these people want to meet your dad. Like, they want to hang out with your dad right now. Are you available?" I was like, "Bro, anytime, man." So we came to Chandigarh. So Pav was available that day. I was like, "Yo, let's hook it up, man."
What a character that guy is, eh?
What an amazing guy, though. So honest.
Yeah, wicked guy.
Like JJ was
Blunt. Yeah.
oh, true blunt.
Shout out to Pav.
Shout out to Pav, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's sick though.
yeah, he's amazing.
We just saw him recently, and he was like, "Please delete my episode."
I know. I
Sorry,
saw that
Pav, that's not
episode.
gonna happen.
That's one of my favorite episodes.
I remember him saying that. He's like, bro, honestly telling you, Pav is such a straight, blunt person. If he says something that kind of offends you, just make sure that like he's not trying to insult you in any way.
It's just how he is.
P.S. He hates that I do that because I've done it to like 4 or 5 people. I'm like,
I know.
So you might meet Pav. He might rub you the wrong way a little bit.
Exactly.
He's not trying to be
Don't
like
take
a,
offense
he's
of
just
it.
very.
You
He's
gotta
like, why the
prepare
fuck do you
them.
tell people that? I'm not rude. I'm like,
No, you don't know about that.
He's actually
So
being
I
nice.
played with Pav actually. So I turned the tables the other way around. I remember him telling him, Menu kende, we were trying to get into conversation with Pav to do something with Dad, and he was super interested, right? So he's like, "Bro, is there any possibility so we can do something with your dad?" So I started the conversation in a way that I'm trying to say no to him. So I was like, "You know what, Pav? Like, you know, all these people who've come up to Dad, like, always, you know, have ruined what Dad wanted to do. There were a couple other people, like, you know, it didn't really work out with a lot of people. So honestly, telling you Dad's music being a certain way." To be honest, bro, for the collaboration with you, and he's like, "Oh, he's just about to say no," and I'm like, bro, I would love it, man. Like, why would you do that? It was amazing. So yeah, I mean, that same night, he hooked me up with Prophecy. He gave me the number. Get this. For the longest time, I didn't have the courage to talk to him. Really? I was like, bro, I'm such a big fan. I'm so starstruck by the idea that I have Prophecy's number. I mean, if he's hearing that, he's probably going to be like, why is Alaap saying that? But he knows what I mean. So at that point, I finally texted him. I sent him like a 7-minute voice note explaining how much he means to me. And then
that guy can literally see the future, man.
Oh. Yeah, rest is history. No wonder his name is Prophecy, right?
Such
he literally is the prophecy
guy,
of the music.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we talked about it, and then one day he was like, "Yeah, let's. Do you mind if we get Dad on some songs we're trying to do?" I was like, "By all means, man. Like my most favorite legendary artist meets the most favorite modern artist. Why not make it happen?" And I'm pretty sure a lot of people would thank me and JJ for that to happen. 100%.
Did they get together to record, or they just kind of recorded their own parts?
No, because I think it was COVID, right?
Sadly, they couldn't meet ever, right?
Who produced
wow,
that
they
track?
never met.
Was it Prophecy?
It was Prophecy
Oh,
himself,
okay, yeah.
and I did I recorded Dad's vocals.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people don't know this, but I'm kind of revealing this, but because Dad's lyrics were done by me.
No
I
way.
wrote that part, and
Wow.
because me and Dad, we were sitting going back and forth. Because that was the process with him, right? For the most part, it was just me trying to figure out whatever he wants in music. Because that became my mission to learn. Ki Dad nu ki chahida.
I actually heard one thing that was Prophecy was
The
telling
voice
me.
note?
No, I don't know. I don't know if it's the same thing or not.
The
But
way he recorded it.
no, so
hear it.
he did the dummy track. So he recorded the dummy vocal, and so Prophecy sends it to me. He's like, "Yo, you gotta listen. This is fucking crazy." And I'm like, "Damn." He's like, "Yo, so once
With
Sir
more,
Duel does
right?
this,
Yeah.
hold on. When Sir Duel does this, it's gonna be fucking nuts. It's gonna be crazy. Like it's gonna be off the charts." Then Sir Duel Sikander, the dad, sends it back, and it's a much more tamed version.
Much more
And
laid back.
Laid back,
Yeah.
tamed version, not as many Alaaps and all that kind of stuff.
anything,
Harkatan,
yeah.
yeah. And then Prophecy's like, "Is this so? Is that like this is how it's gonna be? Like this is gonna be the final?" Just
Is
curious
it?
because he's stuck on that version. I've heard that version. I'm like, "Yo, this is crazy."
That happens.
The whole
And then
management
he
was listening to
broke
that
it
too.
down.
Yeah.
He goes, "Listen, you might want to explain this better." But
Yeah.
yeah,
I was
go for
like, because I'm gonna sing that part. So he's like, "Cheek cheek mola, ਅਸੀਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਦੁਆਵਾਂ." Because the next part is literally the same,
Yeah.
which was done by Dad. But what I did was like, "Suniya kise na ro diya hava." So I was just kind of winging it when I sent him the dummy. So he's like, is Dad gonna do that as well? But I was forcing Dad. Like, this is my side of the story.
Yeah.
I was telling Dad, Papa, aap kar do, e ang la do, e ang la do. Dad's like, listen,
Tੈਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ
the,
ਪਤਾ?
the guy,
That's all right.
the guy who's written this part, Jidi Storia, he's literally crying that he lost his love.
Oh,
ਕਹਿੰਦੇ
wow.
ਉਹਨੂੰ ਇਸ time ਤੇ ਹਰਕਤਾਂ ਥੋੜੀ ਯਾਦ ਆਉਣਗੀਆਂ.
Yeah.
So beautiful, right?
Wow.
And me and Prophecy, we were like, bro, me and Neil, we were like, bro, we never thought about that.
Yeah.
That's why.
So, yeah,
That's
because
why.
You're
kinda had
thinking
to
about it
sell-
as a single,
yeah.
but the way he sold it was so sick. He's like,
Yeah.
keep that shit for stage. Keep that shit for you showing
Exactly,
off. This is not a show off. You're describing someone's story right
Somebody's
now.
emotions,
Sing
yeah.
it so that their emotion connects with the person who's hearing it.
Exactly.
I was like, that's
I
fucking
mean,
nuts.
you can't challenge such.
We got to make
That's
some noise
why.
for that right there.
That's
man.
why the
That's
thing
why he's a
about-
legend. That's why he's a legend.
Legit, that's why he's a legend.
That's why.
You know-
That's why he says like ਤੈਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਪਤਾ?
That's
gonna
why they say
shove
there's
off.
levels to this shit, man.
Yeah,
That's a different
100%.
level.
I gotta bring up a story that Dad used to always tell me. It's like a small thing. So Lataji and great producers back in the days used to do all these great playback songs. So one of the most favorite songs by Dad was like that. Chittiye, chittiye, dard firak waliye, le ja suneha. So like we all know this song, right? So Dad was kind of connecting these stories with Dad and what he told me, right? So he's like, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ, Raj Kapoor himself, the great grand maestro himself, walked into the studio. So Lataji was doing chittiye, chittiye, which sounds amazing. So then Raj Kapoor ji goes, because he's the director of the movie, he understands the feel of the story. He's like, Lataji, kya baat hai? Aap kamal ga rahe hain. You're singing amazing. However, he grabs the bacha himself. He goes like, the girl is trying to express her emotions that her lover is going away. Be oh mera jada pyar jinu main kardi hu challiya. So she's not gonna do a harkat. She's probably gonna be like, chittiye ni So he does it himself.
Yeah.
And Lataji's
Proper
like,
fan.
I never thought about that. So
Like
that's literally
Raj
just
Kapoor
like the
Yeah.
same story what dad said.
Crazy.
That's
So yeah, I mean, all
crazy.
these things you got to put in consideration.
Wow.
100%.
Even like how your dad said, गिर गई
Oh yeah.
गिर गई, yeah.
Get it, yeah. He
गिर
used to
गई
do
ਨੂੰ
that in
ਉੱਪਰ
the
ਜਾਂਦੇ
live,
ਸੀ ਪਰ ਗਿਰ
always.
ਗਈ ਨੂੰ ਥੱਲੇ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਣਾ ਸੀ
Nazrana
Yeah.
गिर गई, yeah,
He always said that.
The one,
One of my
the
all-time
one that you
favorite
mentioned
songs, man.
once.
Nazrana Ghir Gayi?
Yeah.
100%, bro. That's like
Comedy?
the top
Yeah.
for me.
yeah
I got it from dad actually,
comedy
because that's what I learned from dad.
The video you were talking about,
Yeah.
remember?
It was like कोई शक नहीं तू सोनिए ना तेरा कोई सानिए क्यों ताश वांगरा सबना दे हत्थां विच घुमदी जानी
So that's
Yeah.
that's literally what Sardul Sikandar stood up
yes,
for, right?
that's
Yeah.
like dad's feel. Like,
Expressing your lyrics with your composition.
Yeah.
So
like when you're
that's
here,
him.
like
To play
when,
on the
when you're
words.
listening to
Exactly,
it,
yeah.
so you can picture that too.
So one day, you know, everybody knows that song. Like it has become such a pedestal for singers who are trying to go into all these talent hunt shows. They're like, oh, if you're able to sing that song, like you're obviously considered somewhere really great. So the song is called Aja Mahi Der Na La. So I think Sona Nahi Manda. So it's an amazing song. ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੋਹਣੀ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮਪਲ ਸੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਰਡ ਆ ਹਾਰ ਗਏ ਲੰਬੀਆਂ ਜੁਦਾਈਆਂ ਦਿਨ ਪਿਆਰ ਦੇ so dad's like I could have said I could have done he's like I could have done all the harkata in the world but the word says har gaye so you have to lose yourself he's like har gaye so I'm like I'm obviously not even doing it at that level where he used to do it but you understand the idea
you felt the
you
hard
you felt them breaking down into pieces like har gaye so you understand
That's
what he stood
sick.
for right yeah
And then in Khat Tukde Tukde, he did the same thing. Like mere lekhan de vich honke san.
oh yeah
It's
he
like,
did the honka
Mere lekhan de vich honke san. That thing, right?
That's fucking
Nobody
sick.
considers that stuff anymore, and that's what made them what they were.
Yeah.
That plus many other things, right? So yeah, these things are to be put in consideration.
So everybody's like, everybody's like, you know, ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਡੈਡ ਤੋਂ ਚੱਕਿਆ ਸੀ, you know, ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਡੈਡ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, you know, ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਡੈਡ ਦੇ ਇਰਾਦੇ ਆ, ਮੁਰਕੀਆਂ ਹਰਕਤਾਂ. It like, you know, I'm like, my dad was like a scientist.
yeah,
He discovered a lot of things in music, in terms of vocals. But you know, very less people know that he was also like not very less. I would say like you know like maybe they're like 50%.
maybe 50% of the fans.
That my dad like was a crazy harmonium player.
Yeah,
This crazy.
was
He
crazy
started
good
with
with
Khalid
harmoniums.
Manik Saab. Playing in Canada. First time on fresh passport. ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦਾ ਵੀਜ਼ਾ
flew out of
ਲੱਗਿਆ ਸੀ।
India
oh wow
ਸਭ ਤੋਂ
Yeah.
ਪਹਿਲਾਂ
to play harmonium
with Kuldeep
With Kuldeep
Manik
Manik.
in 1986.
oh this is before Doordarshan right?
Before that's the time when Roadways Di Lari came out in audio.
That was a lucky year.
The video was not
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
born that year.
Yeah, I knew, I knew that.
His favorite song too.
Yeah, it's a
right?
bang about like you guys, your dad and I guess your chachi and them, they're all from like a lineage of
Taya, yes,
Tayaji,
Yeah,
Kapoor Ali.
Tayaji, exactly.
Yeah.
Papur Tayaji and Gamdoorji, right?
Yeah, so they're all like
your
musically
Tayaji used to
One was a
host
tab-
an anchor as well
tabla player,
right?
I think.
Oh, he used to be the harmonium player and the singer. So the other Tayaji was the tabla player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys considered or been approached to do like a biopic or something about your
Bro,
father?
we seriously have like a plan.
Bro,
Yeah.
honestly,
please do that.
I'll tell you the
Yeah.
funniest thing. So him and I, in the middle of the night, when we have like literally nothing to do, he's in the other room, I'm in my room. We're texting each other photos of people
Yeah.
that could potentially act as certain actors that would play a great role in my dad's life. Like if somebody had to play Charanjit Ahuja Saab, who would it be? Not gonna drop any names yet because it's obviously secret.
Obviously
Yeah.
top secret.
Sachin.
Right? So-
100%.
Secret, right? Yeah, but like we always talk about that happening.
You
So-
heard it here first.
Yeah, you heard it. You definitely heard it here
I
first.
think it needs to happen more, and your father's a great example. But there's so many singers like Chamkila needs a biopic. Some like these,
That's
They're
happening
working
too,
on it.
right?
It's happening.
you know,
Yeah.
these stories
They
need to
keep
be
doing it.
told for these legends, so
Exactly,
that
yeah.
people understand
Some
the history
like
of it.
untold stories.
Yeah.
Like you know what
Things that
what
you
kinda-
guys know that you know can be shared with the
Or
world.
like
that,
imagine a Netflix series.
Oh yeah,
That would have been
man.
amazing.
yeah.
That would have been
sick.
amazing.
idea, yeah.
And like my dad, like I told you, bro, Husna de Malko, the album, it's my favorite album. And that album is like full of story, man. That's like a biopic material. Like
Yeah, definitely.
we're gonna share with you, like, you know, it's like Huja Saab, Guruji, like, you know, he was working with another artist from Canada. Like we won't name him.
It's fine. You can name him. He admits to it. So if I still remember correctly, K.S. Kunder
K.S.
from back in
Kunder,
the day.
yes.
Penda Mitran, yeah.
Pin Mitrande, there you go.
Okay.
So he was working with an album with Ahuja Saab, and then rest
And
is
then
silence,
like
gonna
you know
tell
he actually said that I'm a you know grabbed like a few tracks and like Devinder Khanel uncle was writing and you know obviously for
So that was the team, right?
that was
Yeah.
the team.
Sanjeev Anand uncle and then Devinder Khanel uncle, Debi Maksood
And-
Puri. That was
and-
the team.
And they wrote like the songs and like you know another guy approached K.S. Kunder Sahab
Another famous guy back in the days, yeah.
and he's a big popular Bollywood singer now and he's like he used to produce music. I was like, dude, I can do better music, but in half price
Half of the
than
price.
Charanjit Ahuja.
That happens.
It's like,
nowadays,
really?
too.
It happens
All
still,
right,
bro.
all right.
Yeah, that
All right,
still
dude.
happens.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, let's do this. And then he took his like everything.
He
and
kinda ditched him.
He
Yeah.
ditched apna Guruji nu. And he stopped like, you know, reacting or like, you know, replying
Replying
back.
to it.
And he started working on the album. And he was in the studio. Ahuja Saab gets a call from Ramju Bhai. The
One of the
Yeah.
musicians
Yeah.
from
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing toe player.
Yeah,
Amazing.
man.
Percussionist.
And
Boss level.
Ramju uncle and all these like all his nephews and brothers, we used to play all the rhythm. And
Now think about the loyalty.
yeah,
Yeah.
here the loyalty is that he called. Somehow he's like, you know, these songs kind of sound familiar
Yeah.
that we just played. And he's like, oh shit.
We just played it yesterday in Ahuja Saab's
No,
studio.
it was last week in
Last week,
Charanjit
yeah, whatever.
Ahuja.
But
And
like this is the same track that I'm playing with Gunnar now, but then it's for somebody else. But we played this exact same pattern, exact same music, exact same songs,
yeah, but
compositions.
these things belong to Charanjit Ahuja.
Yeah, but these were played by us again last week for Charanjit Ahuja. Like, is this guy trying to rip him off or something? Like, so he calls Ahuja Saab.
It's like, no, this is what's going on, man. That's what's up. And he's like, what? And you know, and then he's like,
Next, yeah.
and he got like really pissed off with that.
Obviously.
No, next thing, what happened? He played smart.
Oh,
he
yeah,
still,
he-
he still tells me all this.
He
you know,
played
he's like-
smart. He played legendary
He,
smart.
he said I called Kunder. He's like ਵੀ ਦੱਸੋ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਰਿਸਪੌਂਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਬੇਟੇ ਵੀ ਕੁੰਦਰ ਕਰਨਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਕੰਮ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਦਾਂ ਹਨਾ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਮੈਂ ਦੱਸੂਗਾ ਜੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ ਇਦਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਰਕੇ so somehow Guruji got to know that you know he's actually working with some other you know music producer on my demos because back in the days demos used to happen just the way we're sitting if I have to like he has tabla and then you have the harmonium like JJ singing by any chance you know so
Yeah.
out of the blue
I wish.
the Christmas miracle.
Yeah.
So like Edda Sare Betya, so he would record it on a Walkman. So he would just press record and then whatever we're doing, we'll just rehearse it and we'll put it onto the cassette and that's the demo now. So you take it to the studio, you listen to what you did, and then you compose music that way. So this is what he was doing, and he took the cassette to the other music producer. He's like, there you go. I've made your job easier. So whatever he's put on this cassette, just record
Rip it off. Yeah.
Rip it off,
And
right?
make it whatever you like to.
And then
he
I'll,
comes up.
I'll tell you the best thing. And then Guruji got to know that this happened. First thing, like in the middle of the night, he calls my dad. He's like, Sardul tu kithe hai? He's like, Peri penna Guruji, main pind hi ji khedi, because he used to live back in Pind, right? He's like, main pind hai ji khedi not Singh. So he's like, tu jaldi to jaldi Delhi kinne baje pahunch sakda? So Guruji, tusi dasso, mainu hukum karo kinne baje? ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੁਣ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਵਜੇ ਆ it was probably like maybe 2ish no yeah it was kind of early but then still like too late for him to get to Delhi so it was like maybe 10-11 o'clock he's like ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਮੈਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਆ ਜੀ ਦੱਸੋ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੂੰ ਜਲਦੀ ਤੋਂ ਜਲਦੀ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਜਾ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਫਲਾਈਟ ਕਰਵਾਤੀ ਹੈ ਤੇਰੀ ਬੰਬੇ ਦੀ my brother's going to give you the ticket so come to Bombay so I don't know how he made it there but like he got there in the middle of the night next day he reached there and then Harpajan Man uncle was there to receive him because he was still working with Guruji at that time, right? So he was there to receive him. He picked him up from the airport in Bombay. He
That's
took him
like
to the
all
studio.
worried about like.
Dad's
what the
worried.
heck,
Like, why
man?
would he call me in the middle of the night? And he flew me here.
And he's not telling me anything.
What's going on? And then Dad gets to the hotel, and then Guruji, with a lot of just maybe anger stored in him on his vajja, and probably like 3 in the morning, he's like, Sardul, tu so ja, beta, te kalu studio jana. Guruji, ki gal hogi? ਉਹ ਮੈਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਸਵੇਰੇ ਦੱਸੂਗਾ ਬਸ ਤੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਗਾਣੇ ਆ ਨਾ ਉਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਕੱਢ ਕੇ ਰੱਖ ਲੈ so luckily Dad carried his briefcase with him so like all the songs that were written on ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ ਚਲੋ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ WhatsApp message ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ you had to archive these songs back in the day right you got to keep it in your case so Dad took his briefcase with him and Dad ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਸਾਰੀ ਰਾਤ ਨੀਂਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਈ so ਯਾਰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਹੋਣਾ so he took him to the studio explained him the scenario And the Guruji daso ki hukam. He's like, we're gonna do the songs in your vocals now. We're gonna do it before him too. So he did the music in like a week. He did the vocals in a week.
That's crazy.
Songs like Mitra nu, like Mitra ne
Mitra ne aaj billo nachna.
Husna de mal ko fulla di kachi vapar ne.
चुन्नी जद लगते बननी नहीं होगी चन्नी चन्नी
All
right?
these crazy
Baja
good
baja
songs, they were done in like a week or two of a time. And they sent back the audio to, I believe, Saga at the time or T-Series, whatever the label was. And they put it out.
Yo.
And the accidental harmony he's going to talk
Bro,
about.
You know, that's so crazy because I'm
first
just thinking
song.
about it because I'm like, yo, when you guys mentioned Kia Schooner and Band Mitran Diai was huge. Like,
Yeah.
everybody
Big
knows
hit.
that track.
Huge.
But he never had anything after that.
Exactly. That was the reason though.
So now it's like, holy shit, the story comes full
Yeah.
circle.
The harmony story.
I
Yeah.
own that record and I was always like, yo, he never had anything after that.
Don't get me wrong. Amazing singer, Kia Schooner, right? It's amazing. It's an amazing track. But then tell him.
but you don't ditch Charanjit.
Man, he's making your
He's like
career
Dr.
better,
Dre
right?
of
100%.
Exactly. Yo, tell him the harmony
Oh
story.
yeah, so we're talking about Mitra ne aaj billo nachna. Mitra ne aaj billo nachna, tere naate boliyan pa. We know the song, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we know this thing, right? So
Vibe
it's
with it.
and my dad, he was singing, like Antara comes in, like Guri ho ke danda na kadak jado jakdi, you know, it's like Sardul, ये तू नहीं दिख रहा है दे ना low notes ने बहुत. Let me just
low
मैंने
for
5 मिनट दे. उन्होंने chord chart सामने रखा. Chord chart देख के उन्होंने ओदी ना notes दे उतले notes जो match करते
The same chord chart, and then he used the other inversion, the top
yeah,
inversion,
and inversion
for the
gotcha.
notes.
And
So he's like,
Yeah.
"Tu
He's
aisa
like-
kar, tu aa wali tarj ga
Yeah.
de, because that's gonna be high enough for you."
right?
Yeah.
And like da 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 da, and then he's like, okay, I'm Sardul sing da 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 da. That sang it. Okay,
Because originally the song was composed for K.S. Schooner's scale,
Yeah.
which was way lower than Dad's, right? Because
Exactly.
Dad was so used to
it's
singing
like
on Pehla
मैनू
Dooja Kala.
सरदूल नहीं नजर आ रहा है तेजा. You know, उन्होंने कहते मैनू सरदूल नजर आना चाहिए.
So he recorded the high take and accidentally also left the low take in there. And accidentally the engineer played both of the tracks.
both of them accidentally.
And then the both tracks were obviously so harmonized because it was
They
planned according to
actually-
the chord chart.
They actually sounded like something like I'll do the higher one and do the
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Guri ho ke danda kadak jado jakdi.
Mundiyan di toli tenu bittu bittu takdi ni bittu
That's
bittu
crazy.
takdi.
So sick, right?
And it was like it was
Just being able to do that is fucking nuts.
Gee, let's make some noise for that, man. Come on, let's fucking go. Thank you. I'm just in awe. I've never had an episode where I've said so little. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is going on?
I'm sorry if we're keeping you out of
No,
focus.
man.
you're
Oh,
killing it.
shit.
There's so much to talk. I mean, at that point, what happened was Guruji went like,
मेरे स्टूडियो च तो कहंदे
Bahara
बहारा ही
chha
छिड़
gaya,
गया
कहते मेरे
कहते.
studio. It was amazing. He's like, you know what? Now we're gonna do every antra like
Every,
this.
like all the entries like this.
So, if, like, you know,
That's
we
crazy.
all know the song now. This is how it ended up. So, like, little accidents, how amazing they are to. I'm sure you guys face that every day in the studio.
These stories, did you hear them from your dad or like in group
Yeah,
settings where
yeah,
he's telling
yeah,
other people
yes.
or like?
well, this was by
Guruji told us
Guruji.
that story. So I'll take most of the credit because I was like the curious kid. Even in Metaworks, these people used to tease me. They used to be calling me, "Oh, you're Mr. Know-It-All. How do you know so much?"
Bro, this guy knew everything. It was fucking annoying.
We call him Google.
He always had his
No.
hand up.
Yeah, always.
The
always
teacher's
answer
probably like,
every
too.
somebody else.
every question he answered, he knew every like. I don't know music theory. Boom, boom, boom. How do you know this? My dad's Sardul Sikander.
I remember saying that to him.
How do you know this? Because I remember this. I remember this specific. Because I failed music theory like 3 times. Right?
man.
This guy ripped
hard,
it.
yeah, it's
He
hard.
ripped
No,
it.
it's
Right? And I'm like,
I got like 100 on that. I
I'm like,
remember.
how
that
do
day.
you know this? And he's like, I come from a household where I would not be able to eat if I didn't get my shit right.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it was such a strict environment in a good way
Yeah.
that do whatever you want to, but just don't forget the music. I mean, guess why we're named Alaap and Sarang?
Straight
Dad
up.
was like, you know, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਤੇ engineer lawyer ਬਣ ਜਾਓ ਵਧੀਆ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ, but ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਨਾਮ ਦੀ ਸ਼ਰਮ ਆਉਗੀ, so you'll come back to the music.
I remember
Can we
one of,
explain those names? People like me that don't fully understand.
So basically, bro, Sarang is basically a rag.
a rag. It's like a traditional,
It's a
classical
classical
scale.
scale.
है ना?
Can you
Go
show
for
us
it.
what the rag is?
So that's Sarang, right?
Nit
The-
khair manga
Yeah.
sohniya.
Jeez.
So that kind of scale.
More popular.
There's different versions to
Jujji
Sarang.
Digan? Jujili Cat?
That's an inside joke.
Oh shit!
We had a
We
quality
got
group
a little
for,
Kuali party.
have a
Yeah,
choreo
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
And yours?
So Alaap, basically, you know how you say when you do ad libs when you're doing vocals. So in Sarang, so that's a rag. And if you have to do, if you have to represent the rag and you have to tell the other person, "Ki main kede scale ch gauna." So you would kind of sing it in a way,
Just like
and
I
that
did.
that way of singing is Alaap. So it's like. So that's what Alaap means.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. This
A lot
is
means
a
just singing those
Just this part,
keys.
whatever I was
Wait.
doing, literally means Alaap.
Wow.
Curious.
Yes.
Is there any reason behind Sarang? Like, why did your dad choose that?
Mom's favorite.
My mom's favorite rock.
Mom's favorite rock. Yeah. Look at the romanticism, bro.
Down.
Love marriage.
Well,
Love
that's
it.
another story.
bro.
That Em was telling me that your parents actually had a love marriage when it wasn't popular to have a love
Yeah,
marriage.
7 years of relationship. I mean, when it was not even like morally legal to be in a relationship.
Do you
right?
know the story how they met?
We know
yeah.
everything, man.
My
Like,
mom, she keeps telling, "Tere papa manu itthe mile si, tere papa manu act."
I mean, look at the love. Such a cute story, right?
My dad was like,
हाँ, बस बेटा बच्चा नहीं दसी दी देख
their parents' music, their love talked about in so many songs. Like as of recent, I can remember Karan in his song "80 Degrees."
Yeah,
He
right.
talks about Nodi ani love Sadur varga.
yeah.
And
Right.
there's so many.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we didn't even ask. How is your mother doing?
Oh, God bless, bro. Thank you to all the prayers that and all the support you guys gave. I mean, all those listeners as well. And na ka hausla ditta sabne. I mean, obviously losing your love, that's the worst thing you can possibly, ever have. That's happening to you, right? I mean, at the same time, I know that she's gonna have to like kind of make her peace with it, which is impossible to do. But she understood one simple thing, that on wale time de which I gotta live for what he stood for. I gotta live for what my kids stand for. I gotta live for what we all stand for as a family.
Yeah.
So she's back to work. She's back to doing movies. This was there's another movie.
Awesome.
She did one this
She
year, no?
kills it in the movies.
She did one this year as well, right?
Yeah, she did. Oh no, it's actually 8 movies now this year.
Oh, damn.
This is her 8th movie that
8
she did.
movies?
Yeah, she's been back to it, and then I'm glad that I
is
kind
awesome.
of pushed her into it, right?
Like
Yeah, I mean, kudos to her, man.
Yeah,
she really got back to her,
absolutely.
right? Yeah, her
She's
thing.
killing it.
and all these people
Look
from
at the length of her career too, man.
Same amount of time, bro.
And it's not even like it went down or up. It's been
stayed like
there.
Both of them, mom and dad, right?
I feel like
It's
we
crazy.
need a
It's
series
crazy.
of episodes just to talk about the whole
Straight up.
family, man. I don't think one episode's gonna be enough for this. Holy
That's why
what I
we're making a
always
biopic for you guys.
I remember Maneet always loving the song Mahi Ve Mahi Minu
I
Hai
love that
Hamare,
song.
right? Yeah. I mean,
Crazy.
so if you think about
I
it,
guarantee you, half of the listeners don't even know who sang that.
exactly, that's the craziest part. So
Yeah.
Dadar Sandhu, the legendary artist and the writer himself, so he basically needed a partner on the stage. So any person who could do the female duet parts with him. So they were looking for a singer. Mom was like 9 years old at that time when she started her music career. By the time she was 13, she was discovered by these great people in the industry. One of them was Gurpajan Gill uncle, and he was a friend of my grandfather's. My Nana ji and my Dada ji, both of them, I definitely have to mention. My Dada ji, Ustad Janab Sagar Ali Mastana ji, and my Nana ji, Ustad Roshan Sagar. The beautiful part is they both have Sagar in their names.
Oh wow.
So it was like a common element. So they were friends too back in the days, right? I mean, when mom and dad weren't even born. So they were friends since then. And then little did they know they were going to end up as partners. So, I mean, obviously my Dadaji passed away quite early on when dad was like 10, 11. And mom was 9 when she started her career because a lot happened in her life. You know, a stepmother came in, and then, you know, a lot of the challenges that she faced in her life. So roti nahi deni, you know, to the point where she tried to actually attack my mom with acid on her
Oh
face.
wow.
And my mom is an acid attack survivor.
Wow.
A lot of the people don't know this, but with somebody, you know, with so much struggle in their life, with all the blessings though, I mean, look at her, she's still there, you know.
Like my Nanaji, he was like, he got sick, like he was hospitalized, like, you know.
Because of
after
that stepmother,
After
yeah.
that lady, like, you know, left my
She
Nana.
poisoned the drink and then she left, you know, took all the money away and whatnot. So my mom obviously came back when she was up there in her career, paid for the bills, brought him back, and my
Like my
nani-
mama.
my
and-
nanny obviously, you know, then she was like,
Like,
you're my
obviously-
everything, you know, I can never leave you. So now, yeah, it was such a tragic story for mom as well.
So like they had like a rough childhood too, like seeing all this like things like emotionally breaking down to all that, but still standing up like like a solid rock. But
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, yeah,
100%.
keeping up that like my dad has a different.
They both
story.
have the same kind of stories, but then different kind of approach.
I remember
Yeah.
seeing videos like your dad and his brothers would go perform wherever they could after your
Yeah.
grandfather passed away just to make ends meet.
Whatever they could find, like,
Like,
any gig, anywhere.
My
in the
dad,
city.
bro, like they were like, there's a story my dad shared in an interview like in '94. I remember.
Yeah.
He said like one is ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਗਏ ਉੱਥੇ ਇੱਕ ਮੇਲੇ ਤੇ perform ਕਰਨ ਗਏ, and there was a competition, right? So so there were like 2 finalists. It was a beautiful lady and my thai and my dad, and so the results came. They announced that beautiful lady
For obvious reasons, because the
Right?
prettier lady got the title.
the title.
And my Tayajis and my dad was refused because they were like, oh, they were less talented. And then all the people in the
They
audience
started screaming,
they started
shouting. It was like,
screaming.
what the
Hey,
heck's
what the hell
going
is
on,
this?
man? What the heck? How can you do that, right? And there was like, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਮਿੰਟ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਮਝ ਆ ਰਹੀ, ਇੱਕ ਜਾਣਾ ਬੋਲੋ. And ਉਹ ਐਂਕਰ ਤੋਂ ਮਾਈਕ ਫੜਿਆ, ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਜੇ ਬਿਊਟੀ ਕੰਟੈਸਟ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਆ ਬੀਬੀ ਨੂੰ ਦੇ ਦਿਓ, ਜੇ ਗਾਉਣ ਦਾ ਕੰਪੀਟੀਸ਼ਨ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੋ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤਿੰਨੋਂ ਇੱਕੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਆਏ ਆ.
ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹ ਕਾਲੇ ਜਿਹੇ ਨਿੱਕੇ ਜਿਹੇ ਇੱਕੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਆਏ ਨਾ ਤਿੰਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੋ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ
ਉਹ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਏ ਨੇ
because
ਤਿੰਨੇ
dad
ਇੱਕੋ
used to
ਜਿਹੇ.
tie turban back in the days, right?
ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੋ. And so this is how like all those people used to see music as like a face.
Like a representation for
like
them,
a
right?
representation, like a
I still think it's kind of like that to a
It
certain
is,
extent, right?
yeah, 100%.
Like the image that needs to be sold with I
These
mean,
days,
there's
the image is more important
Yeah.
sometimes.
It's definitely like the only thing that people look after.
I love how he embraced it though. Like
he
light
did.
at nu karo.
Yeah, right.
ਇੱਧਰ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਆ.
ਕਹਿੰਦੇ
ਪਹਿਲਾਂ
ਇੱਧਰ ਮੇਰੇ
ਕਾਲਾ-
ਵੱਲ ਲਾਈਟਾਂ ਕਰੋ.
Pella kala,
He used to say that.
He
like,
loved like, and he would start off his stage like that.
Yeah,
and
love
just
to
set
joke
the
about it.
mahal.
Yeah,
was
I love
beautiful.
it.
There's times when mom and dad used to do
Beautiful.
tours Canada. So then dad would be like, ਇਹ ਲੋਕੀ ਤਾਂ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹੋਣੇ ਆ ਇੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਇੰਨੀ ਸੋਹਣੀ ਘਰ ਵਾਲੀ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਮਿਲ ਗਈ, ਐਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਚੰਨ ਨੂੰ ਗ੍ਰਹਿਣ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਹੁੰਦਾ. It's like a lunar eclipse.
other than India, which is obviously home for your parents, did your dad have a favorite place or your mom a favorite place that they like to go?
Mom definitely has a favorite
My dad
place.
had a favorite place. That was his living room.
Yeah, 100%.
Is that famous Jazz Tommy told us when he went to
The
go
Hall
meet?
of Fame?
Yeah.
Oh,
That,
Hall
where
of
he
Fame.
sits
From the
with
videos I've
picture,
seen, it's like
yeah.
the
that
hall.
you walk into the house and it's like a staircase or
Yeah, it's a massive hall. That
and like
we
the
have.
echoes and the reverbs in that
The
room.
reverb.
That's the
Beautiful
reason why we
reverb.
didn't put any furniture there still, because we love to pass by it and then just
And
sing
sing
our
it.
hearts out.
Wow.
I've seen videos of his dad and like
Was
just
it made?
just
We
seeing
all
the trip
have.
back
Was
and
that
forth
room
and just
made for
crazy.
that
No, it was-
sound, or just that ended up happening?
Believe me or not, you know
It's
the
like a lobby. Actually, it's like a.
you know how Sound City ended up sounding as the greatest drum room in the world?
Yeah.
It was haphazardly done. It was never really planned.
Oh.
So just like that, this room was never planned to be the echo chamber.
Yeah.
It just happened to be haphazardly happened to be that.
It's like the
thing.
bathroom at home too.
Yeah.
It
We
is.
just-
It
we
is
just-
literally like you just walk through it and you sing saw, and then all this reverb
Bro,
welcomes you and makes you sing. It makes you want to sing more.
Yeah.
And all these singers like Hunt's uncle, and then just see, and then all these great people would come in. They want to sing in that
Jeff
hall.
Basker, man.
Jeff Basker came
shout outs to
over
that
one
guy,
day,
man.
yeah.
Who is this?
So he's a legendary producer. He's like a Grammy Award winner, like
Five-time Grammy winner. He works for Kanye.
He's
Oh.
responsible for a lot of the music that's done for Kanye, for Bruno Mars.
the
Madonna,
song "We Are
Katy
Young."
Perry.
He
is
came to
produced
India
by
to your
him.
guys' home.
Oh,
Yeah,
but
and
by-
just
that's crazy.
shout out to him. He brought him there.
Wow.
Because they're good friends from back in the days,
Mhm.
and then
Crazy.
yeah,
That's
it was
insane.
crazy. Like such a big producer.
He
walking
liked
in.
like my dad's singing, but he loved his harmonium. And then he's like recording as the dad's harmonium. He's like, oh, and then he's like,
He's like, I'm so like. He's like,
Dad's,
I'm
like,
so shocked with the fact,
freestyling.
like how you're able to sing whatever and then play the same thing. This in India, that's common practice to sing and do the same thing at the harmonium.
Yeah.
For them, it's like harmonium is a melodic instrument that's gonna play something else, and we're gonna sing something else.
like chords. And
So
stuff.
he was seriously blown away by how dad just went wherever he wanted to, and the harmonium went with him. So his hands were playing the exact same thing. So he was blown away by that. Like shout out to that guy. He's a musical genius. But then
he's great. He's awesome.
Jazz, when
Well,
he showed up here, I
We
remember,
got to speak. Even Jazz on the show, like
Yeah.
the way he spoke about your dad. What's the relationship with you guys and him?
me and him were great friends.
Yeah.
And
well,
then,
there's another relationship that we carry that actually the world doesn't know.
yeah, that's
That
I'm
my-
pretty sure he talked about it too.
My mom and him, they have the same ustad.
Oh yeah.
Master Haridev ji.
Master Haridev's
crazy.
I
From
remember he
Good
talked
Eye.
about it here.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And they're like Gurpad Pai.
In a very funny way, they're good parent because
In a funny way.
they're the disciples of the same person.
Ah.
And beautifully enough, me and Jazz, we connected through.
Great guy, great soul, and his wife.
Oh, what a
So
keep up the
both
honesty.
of them.
Bobby
man.
is
Fantastic
awesome.
people,
Another one I would say,
Yeah.
like Pav, if you know,
Oh, yeah.
very, very, very straightforward.
Very, yeah. Oh yeah.
I love
Papi,
Pav.
Straight up.
I-
Papi's,
Yeah.
Papi's like the maybe the female version of Pav.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. But then I mean, God bless them both. Like the whole family actually. So
Well,
We
we
know
had Jazz come on the show, and with the harmonium, I don't know if you guys got a chance to see it. And
I
did it.
definitely
I saw
it.
that. We saw
I
that.
definitely
Nasranato
saw
Girki
it.
story.
We
He
went
told the story too, like how he met my dad. That's
Absolutely.
literally how we
Oh,
walked
yeah,
into
man.
him.
That was
Yeah.
sweet.
we definitely got to do something similar with you guys.
100%.
So what we want to do is we play a game
Yeah.
on the show. We got to test your musical ear, which is going to be very difficult. This guy is the reigning champ in this show that we
Cool.
do, or
Yeah.
this game that
Bro,
we do.
you guys are putting me in front of these guys. Right
Yeah,
now.
so
Come on.
I'm actually
don't try
really
to set the bar too high, man.
I'm looking forward to this because I feel like he's gonna get slapped in this competition.
So do we have like specific music or is it just?
well, we got DJ SP in the house and we got Prodigy as well. So
Oh,
they're gonna
shout
Shout out to my boys, man.
yeah, they're gonna put something
Shout out.
together
sick,
for us.
sick guys, man.
So
Amazing.
we'll take a quick break. Let's get the harmonium out and let's get ready for the game.
Perfect.
Cool.
man.
All right.
So let's do
Are
this.
they playing the songs in this game?